Dolores, do you have the address for my 11 a.m.? I don't want to be late.
No, sir. We were never given an address. You were just told to meet at the Frodrangle Orphanage.
Oh, this is bad. This was going to be a big break for the studio. Oh, we were.
Mr. Executive, Rod Serling just walked in. I already alerted security.
Oh, the nerve of this guy to keep showing up. I told you he's through.
He's insisting he's from the future and that you need his help with the orphanage.
The orphanage? How does he... Send him in.
A journey lies ahead.
Not now, Rod. I just need to know. The orphanage. Do you know where it is?
Somewhere, hidden between the light and the shadow, there lies a nondescript building.
Rod! Please, if you know where it is, just tell me or lead me there. Is it close? I need those orphans.
Close is but a matter of perspective. But the orphanage in question, run by one Kremlin Fodrangle, is well within walking distance.
They irritate the irritated, flex perplexities, poise puzzles, magnify mysteries, impose inquiries, and coagulate quandaries. But more importantly, they ask one question.
Why would you make this?
Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for listening. This is Why Would You Make This? The only podcast to learn a valuable lesson but sustain serious life-altering injuries in the process. All while you ask the question, why would you make this? I am Jimmy Time. I'm joined by my co-hosts, J Delta, Wagwan.
Wagwan! I can't believe how relevant that intro, that only podcast, blah, 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 ties into what we were just discussing before recording with this man's serious life-altering injuries. What sits behind me, or to the side of me.
To the side of you, yeah.
Literally right next to it.
Yeah. We do the podcast in a very weird way. It's
we just line up in a row.
it's so we can hide our numbers and when we travel. We are also joined by Huge. How are you, sir?
Sir.
All right. We watched Season 1, Episode 5, Walking Distance, where a man travels back to his hometown and finds that nothing has changed since his childhood.
Yeah, we did.
And, of course, it was lost in translation. The French title was Childhood Memory. Yeah.
All right.
The Brazilian title was Beyond Imagination. I'm starting to think that's what
the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that's what they call the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Also, bad translators said Walking Distance. That's it.
There's no bad translation for this. Literally none. I tried so many variation, like I kept running it, tried a different bad shit. Nope. Mm-mm.
Well, that's sad.
We're done.
How dare language be properly translated?
Right, that's what I'm
How am I
thinking.
supposed to enjoy life?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead to the Truth Hour.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing but it.
Oh, it's the truth. It's the truth. What? It's the truth. So hard it'll break your tooth. The truth.
Here's truth.
Oh, you want to go back to the movie quote?
Yeah, I was just gonna throw out a movie
That's
quote and insert a truth into it. That's it. I can't think of any.
And there's no other movie quotes. You shall not truth.
The truth will be with you always.
When you truth that woman in that room, as a matter of fact that you broke the law.
You can't handle the something. I'm thinking of
We
a
already
word.
did that one, I think.
But this time I flipped it.
Oh,
I flipped it.
you flipped it.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in truth.
Okay, that's all of them.
That's
all the truth quotes.
All right.
So, this, of course, aired October 30th, 1959. Some things that happened around then was War Admiral, an American thoroughbred Triple Crown winner, died.
A horse died.
A horse died, and that was news. That's what was going on in the 1950s. Also, the next day, television was seen in Africa for the first time.
All right.
Okay.
They got it.
There it is.
That's a weird way of saying that That was just weird. It's like it was like, oh, look at that! What is that thing over there?
They didn't have boxes
Like
back
they're
then.
spreading.
Well,
A television. Someone dropped it off a truck, and they're like, "What is that?"
did some illegal migration by the television species.
I mean, really, if you think about it, both like seeing what's on television and seeing a television. What, you're gonna tell me they got televisions? They just didn't. Nothing aired on them before that. It was just well, one day this thing will turn on, and you'll be able to see stuff on the screen.
How do you explain that to someone from like a third world country? Not that you know what I mean. From like a place
I don't
where,
think I know what you mean.
What I mean is, if you're in a country in the 50s where most, like 80% of the country is
Go on.
not even having like electricity,
How do you know?
because it's the truth hour.
There you go. It's the truth
Then
hour.
how are you gonna be like, there's these people in this TV, but it's not magic, but it is, because it's the magic of television.
They're not cavemen.
No, that's not what I mean. I just mean it was crazy for people in like 10 years later in America.
Okay, you know a radio?
Yeah.
That, but with pictures.
That is the sound of Huge discovering the radio.
And I was like, there was a radio.
It was. That's,
there was
I forgot the audio medium. Literally, the thing we're doing right now came before.
What is that giant metal bird in the sky? I don't understand.
All right. So other things that happened in October or around October 30th, 1959, was the first American ICBM to carry a nuclear warhead was created.
This is true.
Oh, what a great time!
Yeah, bring that world a little closer to peace.
Also, the first goalie to wear a face mask
In
in hockey.
Yeah.
How did no one think of that?
Nobody got punched in the face before then?
If you told them today,
the guy who literally his job is to stop the puck, never once thought, "Let me protect myself from the puck."
they still don't want to wear that stuff. They still do not want to
Crazy.
wear it.
That's just and people go, "No, that guy's mentally healthy. It's fine. He takes just anything to the face,
Anything?
anything."
Well, that doesn't sound healthy.
No, it's mostly cigarettes. So still, unfortunately,
Yo. I'm starting to think this site might not be reliable.
according to my birthday.ninja, you were once again a female from the year 1025. However, this time you were in Western Russia, which is not near Siberia.
No,
It's totally different. And your profession was a handicraftsman or mechanic.
yo. If you were born in 1025, all you could do is be a horse doctor. That was it.
That's it.
That was the only
Do
profession.
they had horses in Western Russia, right? Is that their thing?
I would think it's
Would it be a
not
bear
too-
doctor? Do they just ride
Oh.
bears over there?
Yeah, it might be too
yeah.
cold for horses. Might be bear doctor.
What do they ride? Do they just push barrels down hills and that's what they ride? So you're a barrel doctor.
they push barrels down hills, hop on, and
Yeah.
like have to run atop them.
So you were a barrel maker back then.
You're a barrel maker and repair person.
And repair maker.
And this is the truth, Alex.
Yeah. So it's accurate.
So you were also a truth maker. All right, let's go on to the best hour.
Our favorite hour.
The Troy McClure hour. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You'll recognize me from such nostalgia-fueled trips down memory lane as America sure was better back then, huh? Except for those people. And them. And them. And them. Or Dante peaked in high school. Today, I'm here to introduce my old pal, Mr. Midlife Crisis. All right, so this episode, of course, was once again written by Rod Serling, which I didn't say in the last episode because I felt it was...
Yo, I think we just better start just crediting the dartboard.
Yep, dartboard. The episode, of course, was directed by Robert Stevens, who also directed the pilot of this show.
Yeah, the only 2 episodes he directed.
That's it. He's done. Never see him again. So, Gig Young played Martin Sloan. You recognize him as Rocky in the 1969 They shoot horses, don't they?
Apparently they shot War Admiral.
Oh! That poor horse.
Yeah, that's a movie about a dance marathon.
Ooh. Okay.
Yep.
How?
Because it's about a dance marathon, and at the end, someone goes, well, they shoot horses, don't they?
That's, of course it is.
Because it was...
That's what the movie Chinatown was based off of. Mildly based off of, mildly.
Wow, I just realized that the director, he directed this in the pilot.
Yeah.
This motherfucker just specializes in dude wandering around town.
Yeah, huh? That's his niche.
Yep.
I want to see what he'd do with a porno.
I got a hot pepperoni pie here. Hello? Anybody?
Little boy, get back here! The two things that happened in the episodes he filmed. I'm sorry, folks. That's what I have to work with. He also might recognize him as Jim Marsh in the 1978 Game of Death.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. That was his last role? Is what you're saying? Oh, that was his last role.
Somebody else's last one.
Also, the last film of Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
Posthumously. Like, Bruce Lee was already dead for 3 years.
Oh, jeez.
And it's...
Never finished. Well, they finished it with literally a cardboard cutout.
Yikes.
Also, the plot of the movie is the actor fakes his
own
death.
death.
Oh.
Yeah.
So nobody believed it. You also apparently won't remember him as the Waco Kid from the 1974 Blazing Saddles because he collapsed the first day of filming from alcohol withdrawal, was fired, and then replaced by Gene Wilder. He also committed suicide after he murdered his wife in 1978.
Oh boy, that took a turn.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah. Oh, well, excuse me. His fifth wife. So, you know. It was a turn there. Nobody saw that one coming.
Yeah, really. All right, well, number 5, this one will work out.
No, the 4 others survived. And this one didn't. What a twist.
All right.
All right. Yeah, that's the knife. It's twist. So Frank, I don't know how he killed her. I shouldn't say that. It could have been with a gun. Frank Overton, he twisted the gun.
He was the first man to turn a gun sideways.
Ah! So Frank Overton played Martin's dad. You probably won't recognize him as Sheriff Hectate in the 1962 film To Kill a Mockingbird. General Bogan in the 1964 Failsafe.
His name's funny.
General Bulk Bogan.
Bulk Bogan. What didn't we do? Something like that too with it.
Plessy Ventura.
That's it. Plessy Ventura and Bulk Logan. In what? The new hit? What? Blunning Blan? Like, what film are they in?
Yo, I think the secret to comedy might be the letter B.
Oh, boy. So, you'll also recognize him as Major Harvey Stovall in the 1964 to 67 series 12 O'Clock High. He died of a heart attack in 67. Oh, so that's why the whole series ended. Oh, wait, did the series end or just his appearance on it?
This episode is depressing, and we haven't even gotten to it yet.
To be fair,
His plane was shot down in the show, and then they just had to kill him off.
oh, that's a MASH reference, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Now it is.
It is now. All right, so what am I looking at? Ron Howard. Ron Howard was in this. That's who that kid was.
The one who's like, hi,
Yeah.
hi.
Oh, the one on the street.
The one playing
Still
Mark.
got names for your
okay.
marbles, kids?
All right. Dude, Ron Howard is like dirt old, huh? Holy jeez, man. He has been a kid since like the 1920s.
Well, so he's not a kid now.
No, he kind of is. He's an older kid, but he's still a kid. He's like a 50-year-old, 5-year-old.
All right. I didn't know they gave 5-year-olds power of Star Wars movies.
So,
Please keep that up.
yeah, whatever. Ron Howard plays Wilcox Boy. Is that his last name? Wilcox Boy.
He's the Wilcox
Oh,
boy.
the Wilcox Boy. All right. He's Richard Cunningham in the 1975 to 1984 Happy Days. He's the narrator / Ron Howard, which character of himself, I guess, in the 2003 to roughly 2018.
There's a lot of years missing in between
Arrested
there.
Development, yeah. And then he's also director of the 2018 Solo, a Star Wars story.
Go see Solo.
It was.
I liked it.
It wasn't bad, but it was.
I had recently learned that I guess enough time had passed that the people were just spouting out spoilers, and I learned a lot of stuff that was in it. I was like, dude, if they would have led with that in advertising, like the stuff that I learned was in it, I would have seen it a lot sooner.
Yeah, the best part of the movie by far was Lando. By far.
It's good. It's good.
Honestly, they should have just made a Lando movie. We didn't need to see. Oh, this is how he meets Chewbacca and blah blah. We didn't need to see all.
A little paint by numbers and that stuff.
Yeah.
But some of the other stuff that they didn't have much time for was good. Like the stuff, it was good. I liked it, and I thought what's his name was good. I was like as Han, as young Han. I was like,
Yeah, I thought it was a good
Alright.
young Han.
Well, you could see the full cast and crew for this film and for Solo at imdb.com. Let's start the film. Gas station. A open-top car pulls up to a gas pump at a gas station. And dust is kicking everywhere, and he starts honking the horn. I want service! And the employee is just like,
Yo, dude.
you can go fuck yourself, son.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. And he's like, check out this dick over here. Let me stand up. The employee comes over and, he fills up the car. And we get the opening narration. Martin Sloan, age 36. Occupation, vice president, ad agency, in charge of media. This is not just a Sunday drive for Martin Sloan. He perhaps doesn't know it at the time, but it's an exodus. Somewhere up the road, he's looking for sanity. And somewhere up the road, he'll find something else. So Martin asks for an oil change and a lube job, and it's going to take about an hour, and he notices that Homewood is nearby. It's about a half mile down the road, says the sign. He asks the attendant, and the attendant says, yeah, it's about a half mile down the road. And it's just like, oh, jeez.
Gotta stress this episode.
Stretch that episode out. Oh, boy.
Man looks at a sign, says Homewood, 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
Homewood, 1.5 miles.
That's
About
Homewood up there, huh?
Yeah.
How far do you think that is?
Well, it's so is Homewood. It's about 1.5 miles, I'd say.
Is that walking distance? You think? It's walking distance.
Yeah, I'd say it is
About
walking
1.5
distance.
miles. That's walking distance.
Yo.
To get to Homewood.
And when I watched this, and as soon as like, you think that's walking distance? I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
you really 1.5 miles? You got to question that? 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah. Is that? Can I walk that?
You're at the bottom of a hill. There's a sign in front of you that says what the town is. Then you see the town right there. You see your distance. You're not wondering. You're at the bottom of a hill. The town's at the top of the hill. How is this a question?
it's, cigarettes.
That is a good point.
Yeah, so...
Well, by walking distance, it's like, ooh, how many cigarettes is it going to take me to get there? More than a pack?
That's why he had to go to the machine and buy new ones. Dude, what kind of crazy cigarette machine in the 1950s has a full mirror face?
Oh, I don't
That's what they zoom into at the end of the
Yeah.
scene, and then they zoom out of another mirror, and they fucking love their mirrors. Holy crap, did they love their mirrors in the show?
Or just invented like 4 years
Oh,
before.
right? Like 10 years ago? Like, it's got to be brand new. Like, military must have had it first. And then they released it to the public a few years later.
Back in the war, they invented the mirror, used it against old Jerry.
They'd put a bunch of mirrors in the forest and then stand slightly off to the side of them and wave and go, I'm over here! And then they'd shoot the mirrors and it'd shatter. And then the soldier would go, oh, I shattered a man! And they would all just commit themselves. And the war would be over. We won the war. That's how we won the war.
We used to use the tactic of a bunch of mirrors and one soldier. They think they're being overrun. Oh my god! Retreat!
We were smart. We were smart back then. So yeah, he walks to the town, and he walks inside of a soda shop, a parlor, old fashioned. What bars used to be? Like I don't know what this is
it's like
in the context of today. It's not really a diner.
I mean,
It's like a sugar version of a bar. Instead of an alcohol bar, it's a sugar bar.
Sugar bar.
Wait, those should come back.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yo, give me a fucking ice cream bar. What is Oh, it's a Baskin Robbins.
Oh, but you can't sit down in there. Well, you kind of can.
You can.
Johnny
Yeah.
Rockets.
I just don't like that name. I'm just not with that name.
There's nothing sexual about it.
Well, it sounded more racist than sexual, but now I'm worried about both. So Martin walks into the soda shop and he talks to the man behind the counter. He says, "Oh, I used to have these great chocolate sodas when I was a kid here. 3 scoops, only cost 10 cents." The man's very confused as Martin continues to reminisce about growing up here and having those great chocolate sodas. So he orders one, and he's like, "What? It's only a dime? Wow, you're gonna lose a lot of money on that, mister."
Huh? How's that?
How's that? I don't understand any of this. He eats the ice cream, and he starts reminiscing more. He's like, "Oh, I remember when Mr. Wilson used to sleep in a chair in that back room, and then he'd sweep up all day. Oh, I remember it all." And he pays $1, a whole dollar. "Wow, mister," and leaves. And then the old man behind the counter goes into the back room, and he's like, "Hey, Wilson, wake up from your chair. We need more chocolate syrup."
What?
Well, but like the old man is just so like even though the guy comes in and describes everything that's happening, the old man never once thinks to go, "Yeah, that's like you must have been in here yesterday and lost your memory because that's all real. That's all happening today." Like it is the most polite town in the world.
Dude. Yo, at one point, he's like, "Man, hey, old man, you look familiar." He's like, "I got that kind of face." I was like, "Oh, like who thinks of himself like that?" Who's like, "Well, yep, that's me, Mr. Background character."
Also, this guy's a dick. He paid his 10 cents for his 3 scoops of ice cream.
Yeah.
But he also stole like 4 or 5 Oreos
Right,
out of that
he didn't
thing.
pay for those.
No.
But he didn't really steal them. He did it right in front of the guy's face, and
Well, people were more polite back then.
You're
not gonna call a white man out on stealing, are you?
maybe cookies were complimentary back in the day.
What?
That is the biggest tragedy I have heard of so far.
Yo, I'm starting to get on board with this "Make America Great Again" thing.
That's all he was talking about.
Yo, are we bringing back free cookies? Oh no! All right, never mind.
The whole time.
Yeah.
This has all been about cookies.
Every episode, the further and further we go into the show, is you getting more and more pissed off that they were living like kings back then.
Free cookies, ice cream for 10 cents. What?
Yo, I gotta be honest. I never once thought that the Twilight Zone would make me a Trump supporter. Make that shit great again. Let's go.
Also, that old man just straight up stole that $1.
How?
Because he pays the $1, and the old man's like, "All right," whoop, right in his pocket.
Yeah, he put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
That's how cash registers worked back then.
That's how whoever was the employee that day is the cash register.
Yep.
He's been spiking Mr. Wilson's drink every day.
Yeah, he goes in the back, "Mr. Any customers?" No customers today, boss." "Why, we have to order more chocolate syrup." Spilled it again.
Yeah, well. Are you gonna, is chocolate syrup not delicious? Well, it is. Yeah, that's true. We should buy some. So Martin wanders around town. He remembers, I remember those people used to live there, and those people used to live there, and some kid who's a terrible actor, according to Delta.
Oh my God! Hi, hi. I'm playing Aggies.
Don't worry, I'm sure he never worked in Hollywood again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what? He went on to... Oh, my God. What the fuck?
The end of that simpleton's career.
You saw this kid, you're like, "You hack! You no talent hack! Get off the set!"
Why don't you swallow those marbles, you bum?
Also, you're a bum, so take off your socks. So the kid goes back to playing marbles, and Martin sits down with him, and he's like, I used to live at that house, and kids used to have weird names for marbles, and do you have them? Yeah, and what's your name?
Kids used to be so uncreative when I was a kid. We called the steel marbles steelies. And the clear ones, can you guess?
Clearies.
Yo.
That's not the first time that I've heard a reference like that before, which makes me believe it is 100%. Like, that is creativity back then.
Well, remember, the shows that were dramatic were called drama.
Donkeys.
And, well, no,
Action.
just the, like, action and drama.
That's true, yeah. Yeah, okay. So,
Oh my God. Was Rod Serling the first creative man in Hollywood? Like, he was the first person who was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, if I put ideas on a dartboard.
this is peak. This is like a new thing.
Yeah.
Thinking is a new thing here. Yeah.
Thinking is.
Thinking is new.
Give that man a statue.
Not a big one, though.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, my name is Marty Sloan or whatever. And he's like, you're not Marty. I know Marty. You're not Marty. Ah! And runs away.
Well, first, Martin's like, well, let me show you my identification to prove you wrong, child. And yes, obviously the kid flees because.
How would he know that?
Yeah.
What would he? Anyway, so we go to the park. Martin wanders around, and he sees some woman trying to get her son out of a tree. And he's like, oh, come on, sonny, get down from there. And,
Listens to him immediately.
Yeah. I don't know why, but he just does.
But he's a man.
Yeah, you gotta listen to men. They're always respected. Every step of the way. I never get disrespected, ever. So, get the kid down, and he reminisces, oh, I used to be here as a kid, and I used to play in this park, and on that tree, and blah, blah, blah.
merry-go-round.
Reminiscing.
Bandstands.
Like, the whole time, I'm like, where is the person who's like, that merry-go-round's only been here for 2 years. I'm like, oh, I used to come here as a kid. I built this house with my hands last month. Like, somebody just be like, this is new stuff, dude. I don't know how you're talking. There's no way. But nobody ever said. They all just go,
Yeah.
uh-huh, right.
Well,
I'm
he's,
just gonna go ahead and say it. Like,
he's clearly a madman, but I don't want to be rude.
yeah, dude. Was so polite. And free cookies?
Yeah.
Dude, what a time, what a time. Yeah. And then he starts talking about how nothing is good as when he was a kid, and those old summer days as a kid. And he tells about the woman. He tells the woman about how he grew up there. Oh, I carved my name right there in that bandstand.
Wait.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a kid carving his name right there. Let me go over there. And he sees the kids carving Martin Sloan. What? You're Martin Sloan. Oh, I didn't mean nothing by it, mister. No, you're Martin Sloan. Ah!
Yeah.
And the kid runs away. Come back! Come back! Martin! Martin! Ah!
Wow, there's an adult chasing a young child across the park, but I wouldn't want to be rude.
Well, that's none of my business, I say.
Not my place.
No. So we go to the Sloan house, and Martin knocks on the door and is amazed to find his father and then his mother inside. What?
Mom, Pop!
It's me, Martin. But you're obviously a lunatic, so let's close the door. You know, where everyone from our family is now safe except for our eldest child, who's outside with that maniac. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually their son, but it seems like it's in their driveway. Like, to me,
Oh,
it's-
no, I think he's across the street.
oh, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it was maybe next door, but I don't know about across the street.
Ah.
It's, to me, it really looked like they closed the door, locked it,
And left the teenage
and
son to die.
that's true, because why didn't Martin go, oh, it's my big brother?
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it's a child.
It is someone's child that was
Someone's
locked
child.
outside. Yes, somebody just left the child outside.
Well, I'm going to lock this lunatic outside with that teenager. I should warn the teenager. But he looks busy. I don't want to be rude.
he can handle himself against lunatics. So yeah, the boy says, hi, how's it going? My dad bought me this brand new car. Isn't it great? It's a brand new car? 1934 Roadster. Right out of Detroit.
Repeat everything that's said. Repeat everything that's said.
Wait a minute. I think I'm starting to put this all together. You know, nothing with seeing myself as a child or seeing my parents 25 years younger.
That's what pisses me off. Is it's not like one of those things where, like, even like a couple episodes ago, there's stuff like that where it's like, all right, you should have got it by now, but it's almost like they're playing dumb. It's like, oh, I'm starting to slowly put this thing together. He figured it out in like the first scene. He figured it out like 8 times.
He sees,
but then he forgets and starts reminiscing again.
Yeah, he sees young him, and he's like, well, could just be a coincidence.
The man literally is like, oh my God, you're me. How is this possible? Let me think on it. This reminds me of a time when I was younger, and things were better then, and blah, blah, blah.
So it is nighttime. Right? Did I do it earlier? Yeah.
Well, there's a mid-episode narration.
Oh, I skipped that. Right, so we got the mid-episode narration.
Which,
I don't even remember it, to be honest. I don't remember it happening.
It was because it's so out of place. It's so weird, and it's literally just him wandering around the street at night, and there's no point to the narration.
Yeah, I literally don't remember it. A man can think a lot of thoughts and walk a lot of pavements between afternoon and night. And to a man like Martin Sloan, till memory has suddenly become reality, a resolve can come just as clearly and exonerably as stars in the summer night. Martin Sloan is now back in time, and his resolve is to put a claim to the past.
Okay, so it's clear to me that Rod Serling has so little faith in the audience that's why there's such a slow development. That's why it's like, here's young him, and here's his young parents, and here's 1934 roadsters. Now let me tell them with narration, because people might not understand the concept of time travel. That's the only explanation. Either that or it's all just padding.
Why can't it be both?
Yeah. Rod Serling literally has to say, he's back in time, guys! Huh?
If you took out the narration, it's only 30 seconds long, but that's still the 3 narrations. That's 1 minute and 30. So the episode's already knocked down to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's good padding if it's padding, I'll tell you that. Yeah. So at nighttime, Martin Sloan sneaks around the Sloan house, and he finds his old baseball glove and his bicycle, and he rings the bell, but then the father comes out and confronts him, and Martin tries to explain who he is, and he runs up to the house, but Dad stops him and says, you're having delusions, and if you don't stop, I might have to hurt you.
Yo, dude, I do not want to hurt you, so you better get out of here.
Yep.
Because you're white, and this is the 50s, so you'll have plenty of chances.
Yep. Look, this is the second time you've claimed to be my 5-year-old son, but you should really leave now. The mother comes out, and Martin runs up to her, and he's like, oh, it's me. It's your son. Don't you remember? It's all the stuff that happened. Look, here's my driver's license. I swear.
That's why they have the 3-piece suits, is so he can hold the identification. You see those wallets? They're 5 freaking feet tall.
Yo.
When did they invent bill folds?
Yeah,
there's no bills are being folded at that point.
Nah, you're gonna crease your money? What are you, a maniac?
That should have been the deciding factor. Is he pulls out his wallet and it folds, and he goes, "Oh, that man folds his money. Let's get out of here, dear."
Call the FBI.
Call the FBI. It must be counterfeit. You can't fold real American money. It's like the flag.
There was only one other documented case that I could have pulled up of a man going back in time to bother his parents.
And it hasn't happened yet.
And it haven't. Well, this was going back to the 30s as opposed to going back to the 50s. But they were also named Martin.
Oh.
That's a good point.
So are you saying Zemeckis ripped it off?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what happened. Yeah, that's probably what happened.
There's a little less padding. They figured out a better
They
Yeah.
perfected it.
Their padding was done with Huey Lewis songs.
There you go. That's how you do it. Music that brings the people together.
I go back in time.
So, mother comes out, reveals the past, shows the ID card. She slaps him, and he hears the merry-go-round in the distance and goes, "Oh, that's right. Hey, am I remembering this wrong? I'm pretty sure he says he never got to meet her.
Yes.
He never got to meet her.
Yup.
And runs, and I'm like, oh, obviously he's gonna be like, listen, young me, this is your chance to fall in love with that girl, and be like,
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
no,
No.
not even fucking close,
Nope.
dude.
We abandoned that plot line and didn't read the script.
Immediately it is abandoned. He runs to the park. He finds his younger self on the merry-go-round, which is moving. It's on.
Okay, what time of night is it? That the whole park is filled with kids on the merry-go-round.
Like, did it get dark back at like 4 p.m. in the day? Like, I don't. Is that why people used to eat dinner? Is that why old people eat dinner at 5 p.m.? It's because they're so used to the sun going down at such an earlier time. Is that what happened?
The sun didn't stay up as long back then.
It's damn MTV. Now the sun stays up till 9 p.m. It's out of control.
It's a loud music keeping the sun awake.
Damn kids in their hula hoops and their Pac-Man video games.
It's all the blue lights from the charging devices. Keeps the sun up.
Neon lights.
Yeah. So, Martin jumps onto the merry-go-round shouting, Martin, I hate to talk to you. I'm not going to hurt you. I won't hurt you. Let me tell you something. I won't hurt you. Just chasing him with his hands out.
Yeah, well, what does any sane child do? Flees in terror.
Yeah, well, obviously. Young Martin falls off the merry-go-round, hurting his leg, and also kind of gets sucked under a little.
Oh, did he?
It looked like he got sucked under the merry-go-round. A little bit.
I don't think so. I think he just fell in the dirt.
All right. It looked like his legs were under it.
But he falls and you just see him like...
Why did he get sucked into the gears? Oh.
What else is going to be under there?
I don't know.
Carnies.
Maybe he...
Carney's pushing it.
pushing it. Yeah, no, that's accurate. Although not too accurate. 'cause
Yeah, it wasn't the
it's not
truth
the
hour.
truth hour. All right, so the ride stops and everyone gathers around to see young Martin injured.
This, like, that split second where Martin falls, and
Yeah.
young Martin falls off, and then old Martin is like, my leg! Like, that's the only part where I was like, oh, shit. And it,
Yeah,
but
that was pretty cool.
that was the 5 seconds of episode that I enjoyed.
Yeah, exactly.
In this whole thing. And it just makes me think of Looper. I don't know if you've seen Looper.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, I never have actually.
Where, like, they fucking cut off past guy's nose, and then you see future guy's nose disappear in a horrifying...
Yeah.
Because in that reality, after he got his nose cut off, he was like, nah, I don't get a replacement. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Shh, don't... I don't want a prosthetic. It's fine.
That's not me. That's not me.
I like the hole there.
Yeah. It helps. It helps with these 5 seconds right now. So yeah, older Martin is just like, I just wanted to tell you that this was a wonderful time in your life, and not to let it go without enjoying it.
I thought you had to tell me about a girl.
Yeah, like. So young Martin is carried away by, I don't know, some adult or something.
Carney.
Yeah, car. Yeah, well, the ride's not in motion anymore. They don't need him.
They shut it down immediately. They carry him off, and a funeral procession of children follows them.
Later in the park, Martin's father shows up and sees older Martin sitting down, and he's like, I just want you to know that the boy's going to be okay. He'll have a limp, but he'll be okay.
Yeah, just so you know, you've permanently crippled my son.
Yeah, it's fine.
But it's fine.
It's totally...
Don't want to be rude.
So he gives him back his wallet, and he's like, I think I understand what's going on now. He's like, do you, Pa? Do you? The license, the money, the wallet is all from the future. And the father's like, well, you have to leave because it's not here. This time isn't for you. You only get one chance, and it's young Martin's summer, and it's not your summer, and he shouldn't share it. And his father says, you have to go back to where you are, because where you are, there's merry-go-rounds, and there's summers, and there's band concerts, and you can enjoy them just the way you can now, and you have to go back. Don't look behind you. Look ahead of you. Look to the future. So, goodbye.
But wait, if you could just let me know who wins the next couple World Series.
Like, I really thought it was going to go that way for a second.
What? Yeah. All right. Look, son, you got to go back. But if you could just, like, let me know, I don't know, let me know how I die.
Just let me borrow your sports almanac. Yeah, just get out of here. And he's like, all right, goodbye. And he goes away. And I was like, yo, this episode is a direct response to the last episode.
Yeah.
It is 100% like, oh, no, everything we said before was dumb. But some people took that way to heart, so I need to help them figure it out. So we go back to the old gas station.
Well, okay, first, the father leaves,
Yeah.
and then the merry-go-round starts back up, and Martin jumps on it. Like,
Right.
that's how that scene ends. And I was like, who turned on the merry... Like, is magic? Magic, he learned his lesson, so magic turned the merry-go-round
Yeah.
on, and that's his time travel device.
Well, yeah, merry-go-round him into the future, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Except, not really, because he didn't merry-go-round back to the past, and then when we get to the future, we learn that the merry-go-round's been torn down.
Yeah, that's true.
So unless he just merry-go-round until it just collapsed into dust around him.
Okay.
Certainly a possibility.
It is. It's
Look, what I'm saying
possible.
is the logic of the Twilight Zone doesn't quite hold up.
It's flawed. Although it is technically another episode that in a vague way involves a horse doctor. Because the merry-go-round had horses.
Yes.
And they're carnies underneath it.
Yes.
And they're kind of like horse doctors in that very vague way.
Yeah.
So we go to the next day-ish, whatever. I don't know. We go back to this soda fountain bar, whatever it's called. Martin walks in. The place is full with young teenage dancers, and hip music is playing on the jukebox. And Martin orders a chocolate ice cream soda with 3 scoops. And the soda jerk is like, well, it's going to be 35 cents. I got to charge you extra. And he's like, oh, what about old Mr. Wilson? Is he still here? And he's like, that guy died 20 years ago. And he's like, all right, all this talk of death isn't making me hungry anymore. I'm not going to order that float. And the soda jerk's like, what? And he gets off the stool and goes to walk away. But he has a limp. And he's like, oh, did you get that during the war, mister? And he's like,
During the war?
no, I got it falling off a merry-go-round. Yeah.
So here's the thing. When he says, he's like, yeah, I got it falling off a merry-go-round. It was a freak thing. Does he know? Is he aware that he caused his own injury?
From which, like, but a more appropriate question would be, which perspective does he have now?
Is it
Yeah.
young him
Yeah.
grew up not knowing who that old guy was who chased him off a merry-go-round?
Yeah.
Or is it older him just went back to where he was? He just has a limp now.
Yeah, and and he doesn't remember the events that took place after a strange old man. Like, he doesn't...
Because if it's the situation where it's just young him who grew up and then, whatever.
Same events in a way.
Same events, it's just now he has the limp and he's like, yeah, it was so weird how he... Then the moral of the story can't possibly be learned because the Martin that learned the moral is the one that would have disappeared because he doesn't exist in the space-time continuum anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm having an existential crisis.
So, who knows? Which is the moral of every Twilight Zone story. Who knows?
Who knows?
So, they tore that old merry-go-round down years ago. Oh, well, see you later.
All right,
And
goodbye.
he leaves. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the way that they displayed all the hip cat kids of the 1950s of them trading books back and forth.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Communism.
Did you notice they're trading without exchanging money? I did notice that there was an advertisement on the wall of a bird. And he was like, you want some blades? And I was like, what? Like, is he selling razors? Like, what is he possibly advertising? It was a parrot advertising blades.
A parrot advertising blades.
Yeah.
Oh man, I have
Like-
to go back.
Like shaving blades?
I
Or
don't
like,
know. It was just a parrot, and the speech bubble coming out of it said, you want some blades, or you need any blades? And I was like, so is this appealing to, like, gangs, or... I don't know.
Is that like an ad for jungle machetes? Like, in a soda shop. What are they selling?
Well, they don't give out cookies anymore. They give out machetes.
Machetes, because the times are so rough.
It used to be a bird that gave out, you want some cookies? Now it's, you want some blades.
You want to get cut? Pay your dues, kid.
You remember that old mascot, Blady the Bird?
Blady the Bird, right? Yeah, he was like a cousin to the Tootsie Roll Owl, right?
He was the cousin from the rough part of town.
Yeah. The owl was like, "Hey, kid, you want to see how many licks it takes to think he's had it? 1, 2, haha, I got the whole lollipop." The parrot was like, "Yo, give me that lollipop, kid." Just walked up to him with a knife. He's like, "Yo, I'll cut you. Give me the lollipop." Blades Lollipops.
Surprising everyone.
They always get stolen from you.
Oh.
Surprise. There's a blade inside. All right, so yeah, he hobbles up to the gas station, Martin does, and he pays for the gas and hops in his car, or limps in his car, and then drives away. We get the closing narration. Martin Sloan, age 36, in charge of media, successful in most things, but not in the one effort that all men try at some point in their lives, trying to go home again. And also, like all men, perhaps there is an occasion, maybe a summer night somewhere, where he'll look up from what he's doing and listen to the distant music of the calliope and hear the voices and the laughter of the people and the places of his past. And perhaps across his mind there'll fit a small errant wish that a man might not have to become old, never outgrow the parks and the merry-go-rounds of his youth, and he'll smile then too, because he knows it's just an errant wish. Some wisp of memory, not too important really. Some laughing ghosts that cross a man's mind that are parts of the Twilight Zone.
Yo, Rod, stop it. Get out of the booth. Get out.
Rod, we're using this by the hour.
Yeah. Like, really, there must have been dudes who were like, yo, boss sure loves hearing himself talk, huh?
He wants that shrine to immortalize his voice, I guess. I don't know. Holy crap, man. Yeah, like, it was a direct answer or, like, debate to the last episode.
Yeah, they're perfect, like, back-to-back episodes. Yeah. They go great together, but they're also the complete, like, antithesis of each other.
Yeah.
Like, one is like, nah, just, like, live your dreams and live in memories.
Dream
and
hard.
This one's like, well, if you try to go back to the past, you know, you should look at the future instead, except now you're permanently crippled.
Yeah.
Like, what? What was the moral of the story? He learns his lesson.
Yeah.
But, all right, so he learns the lesson that he should... All right, okay, hold on. If, depending on the space-time continuum, it's possible that old Martin stayed, remaining his memories of the whole trip to the past. If that's the case, then he learns his lesson of, let me look for positivity in the future, except now it's even harder to find positivity because now the dude is crippled. Yeah, he's got a limp.
See, he should have been a
Holy crap.
screenwalker. Then he could just fly into his own favorite movie.
Oh, boy. Or the space-time continuum dictates that it's young him and there was no lesson to be learned. It's just, now you've got a limp. Either way, life is worse.
I think that this episode would have been much better if it was entirely a holodeck hallucination.
Yo.
Just the holodeck run amok. That would have been good.
Honestly, probably. If only fucking Rod Serling. There's probably going to be a holodeck episode.
Right?
I can't remember it off the top of my head. I bet there is one.
Holodeck Lincoln shows up with...
Moriarty.
And holodeck Ron Howard.
Hi! I call this a Steely! Yo, kid.
Because I stole it from Star Trek! All right.
So you hated that episode?
I fucking despise that episode. Because the entire episode is ridiculous. The entire episode is just someone says something, he then repeats it over and over again for 20 minutes, and when he's not repeating things, he's discovering, oh my god, I know exactly what's going on here. You know, this reminds me of when I used to do whatever, blah, 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 and would just forget.
Yeah.
Ad nauseum. It was, hated it.
It's almost like a combination of the first two episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
It's a combination of the confused old man who keeps repeating everything and the wandering around town of the first episode. And
there's a lot of padding. Come on, these are 20-minute episodes. And, like, you have magic and twists and time travel, and you're still like, padding, extra narration. And again, this is, like, apparently a lot of people consider this one of the best episodes of the Twilight Zone. Yo.
False.
Yeah, incorrect.
False.
Wrong.
Not the truth hour.
Yes.
There's some episodes of Twilight Zone that I really, really like. That I'll be like, I just want to watch this because it's really good. This is not one of those episodes.
No.
This is an episode that I'm going to try my best to forget about.
They all star Shatner.
I do like me some Shatner.
All right, well,
And some Burgess Meredith, too.
there you go.
I won't agree with that.
So, Hollywood Thinking Cap, how do we make this?
Well,
How do we make
There's-
this today?
there's a way. If this was, let's say that we were doing this in the 90s. And I wanted to do everything is exactly the same, except it stars a different Martin. Martin Lawrence.
Okay.
Now, tell me that it is not 1,000 times better of an episode. Martin Lawrence coming back home to wherever it was Martin Lawrence grew up and reminiscing about the Martin Lawrence times.
Isn't that called Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins?
I think
Is that
so.
Is that a
Yeah,
real? Really?
There's no time travel involved, but there is a film starring Martin Lawrence where he goes back home to see his family again. They all have a good fashion cookout.
So it's the sequel to Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins.
Yeah.
It's just
Also,
number 2.
there's
Get out of here, Roscoe Jenkins.
There's also a little bit of Black Knight in there too, where Martin Lawrence goes back in
travels back,
time
yeah.
and becomes a
All right.
knight in King Arthur's court.
Is Blue Steel?
Blue Streak.
Blue Streak.
Streak.
Blue Streak is underrated. I like
Yeah.
Blue Streak.
I would presume it is perfectly rated because I also think it is a great film. I don't know who's walking around saying it's garbage.
I just think the people are just like, Blue Streak, what is that? And
I
they
think
should.
those are racist.
I like the one where he's the security guard.
Isn't that
No,
Blue
that's
Streak?
Paul Blart.
No, him and Steve Zahn.
Oh, yeah. National Security?
Yes, I like that one.
Okay. Now, what the problem is, right?
Yes.
Isn't that one?
Yeah. Yeah. So making it.
So we'd put Martin Lawrence in it, obviously.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. That's how we
That's
make
it.
it better.
All right.
It would be Martin Lawrence.
I'm on board.
Okay. No! Come back! Don't run away on the merry-go-round, Gina! Come back, Gina! Oh, damn, Gina! So that's how we do it. Lots of Gina, lots of Martin Lawrence. Why would you make this? So, apparently, Walking Distance had a lot of personal meaning for Rod Serling. And he conceived the plot while he was walking on the MGM set and became overwhelmed with nostalgia and realizing it was similar to his own, to the town of Birmingham, New York, where he grew up during the 30s. And it struck him with a deep longing to go back to not only his home as today, but as we remember it. So, Rod Serling was going through a personal midlife crisis,
Yeah.
and he wrote an episode about it. As much as I'm sure was what the last episode also was triggered by. It was he had feelings of wanting to go back home and staying in his childhood.
Yeah.
But he couldn't. And he wrote that episode, and then he wrote this episode realizing, well, if you can't, you gotta move forward. And it was a grieving process, I presume.
Just episode to episode, it's him working through some. I feel so alone. I feel like a useless old man. There's nothing that I can do right. I feel like a drunk old washed up has-been.
All right, so maybe Serling is a writer. All right, I get it. That all really just kind of falls in line with the stereotype, so... Let's go ahead and also talk about some of these classic tropes that they presumably invented.
Yeah.
The first one is an Aesop's fable. Clearly they invented that.
Yep, they invented it.
What is this they say? Don't get caught up in the past. That's
Yeah,
the Aesop's fable.
exactly.
I don't remember this whole
Well,
Aesop's fable, but...
So, it's just got to be a story with a moral at the end.
Oh, okay.
And the moral is, stop living in the past and focus on the future and things could be good.
Yeah.
Which could be a good moral, but again, space-time continuum. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Now he's got a limp.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this ends up being a very good...
No, but it does have the classic bittersweet ending that a lot of Twilight Zone episodes have where, so most of them are just plain awful.
Yeah.
But usually the good ones are still bittersweet in that they survive, but they have a limp, It's,
Yeah.
whether it be physical or mental. And
They survived, but he broke his glass.
Yeah, it's not great, but also it could be worse.
Yeah,
Really,
it could be worse.
it could technically be worse.
Twilight Zone. It could be worse.
It could be. Also, title drop is the classic trope where they say the name of the thing in the thing itself.
That's walking distance, isn't it? That distance over there, from here to there? What would you say, mile and a half? That's about.
What
walking
kind of distance would they call that, you think?
I wouldn't go so far as to say it was running distance. No, that's not quite it. No.
I wouldn't bike it. I wouldn't say that's biking distance. Not quite long enough for that.
I mean, I'm no circus fool, but cartwheeling distance, well, that's not something I could even measure.
Oh,
And it all comes back to the Too Cold Scorpio. Are we gonna drive there? No. We gonna fly? No.
No.
How are we gonna get there?
We go step. All right, so the next episode is called Escape Clause, where a hypochondriac man sells his soul to the devil, exchanging it for several thousands of years of immortality.
Starring Tim Allen.
Obviously.
yeah.
When I asked some people on the old Twitter machine what they thought some good episodes were, this was one of them. Yeah, so
Yeah?
one of the people said,
It's been a while, but I do remember this one. It's no.
"No,
Yeah.
It's got some on paper. It's a good episode. In practice,
Well, hold on now. You can't be like, well, on paper, it's a good. You know how many episodes that applies to? We're like, well, on paper, this could be pretty good. Walking distance, that applies to this episode. Well, on paper, this could be a pretty decent.
on paper, communism seems pretty good." Like, well, it doesn't matter on paper. It's in practice, is what.
Yeah. I recently, I actually watched this episode maybe like a month ago. So, I remember the ending, and yeah. bleh.
I mean, I have to presume that it is he gets his wish and regrets it.
come on, give us a little bit better than that.
Yeah, come on.
What happened to arson from a couple weeks back?
All right, fine. He gets his wish and he regrets it because he never stopped aging, and now he has to live in a home, and he's just like old and decrepit, and he's got tubes in him, and
He's got tubes in
he's
it.
got tubes.
Now
in him.
you've gone too far.
I mean, this is the 50s, sir. Tubes. What is he? The internet? He's connected to a series of tubes. Yeah, I'd say figure that he gets his wish, but it like just egregiously medically backfires on him, where he's like, "No, I want 1,000 years old."
So what if like he gets his immortality, but then, some horrible accident where he's horribly mangled and he's just a head in a jar? Or,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like he gets a limp. He's
a limp.
immortal, but he's got a limp, and ice cream's 25 cents more expensive than it used to be. The horror.
The worst injury back then was a limp.
As a limp, yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst that could happen.
That's what happened when you got polio.
Look, there were different degrees of limp.
Also,
You got a stage 4 limp.
don't come at me. Not the truth hour. don't come at me. Yeah. So, he literally lives for thousands of years, and it's horrible.
All right. Well, if you agree with him, in the comments, see what your own ending will be, and we'll see if it matches up with Jimmy Time's.
Go ahead.
What's the twist gonna
Take
be?
a guess and. So.
But don't look it up. That's cheating.
Don't. Yeah, that's totally cheating. Don't do that. So VictorProWrestling.com.
Victor Pro Wrestling returns live to Center Beach, Long Island, New York, October 27th. Got it right that time. Kind of. For Monster Bash, not MASH, legally distinct.
Yes.
So you should go check that out. J Delta, Puppet Delta will be there, and I am currently the officially sanctioned New York State champion. I know Steve Gipke, Poughkeepsie will be there. I don't know. Look, I didn't pick this guy's last name. I don't, I try not to judge. He'll be there, and he's running around with that newer title, not officially sanctioned, so there might be some kind of,
Yeah.
unifying type thing. You can follow me online at DJ Delta.
There you go. And in the very, very off chance that this episode comes out after that, there's another Victory Pro Wrestling show November 24th. So again, victoryprowrestling.com. You can look up.
Is that going to be right after Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
That's bad timing.
Dude, she did
Oh my
So
god.
Black Friday.
Oh my
She
god.
did not. Anyway, we'll not cut all that out and ruin our careers.
Yeah, cut that out. Is what I'm telling you. Cut that out. Stop with those
God,
dates.
those terrible dates. So yeah, go there. Huge, do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, you can watch any of Two Cold Scorpio's best wrestling matches and stepping videos on YouTube.com. Just put Two Cold Scorpio in the search bar. But if you got some extra time after that, you can find me at most social media outlets at Atomic Huge with an EUG.
Nice.
I thought you were at Tom Cruise.
I mean, that's, you know.
You can also follow Tom Cruise.
You can also follow Tom Cruise.
I don't know why we're promoting that, but we are. Apparently,
We're working our way up to
2 weeks in a row we're doing that
the
now.
Scientology MLM.
They don't know there's a back door. There's a podcast back door.
Yeah,
and
that's
That's it.
Shh, can't let them know.
Yeah, so please also go to www.ymt.com for all things Why Would You Make This, including ways to download or listen to this episode if you did not use iTunes or Google Play. You can also find a link to our YouTube where we will probably have good stuff eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
Got 1,000 subscribers, so that's the thing.
1,000 people can't be wrong, right?
I mean, look, we've had other subscribers, and they never sent us a GIF of the subscriber number going up to 1,000 to celebrate that. So it's got to be something.
Oh wait, I thought you posted that. Someone else?
Oh, I posted that, but YouTube sent that to me and was
alright.
like, "Congratulations!" I was like, "Oh,
It was like a dance of banana or something, right?
yeah, this is bananas. You have 1,000 subscribers."
Yeah.
I don't really get what their marketing scheme is there. I don't really understand it.
But I really want to go out and buy bananas.
I do. Also, I've been thinking a lot about Gwen Stefani. I think it might have something to do with her. Yeah, so again, www.ymt.com. And, of course, the intro music is Falling Off Your Love by Kill Paris. And for Huge and J Delta, I am Jimmy Time. And please remember that without the mistakes of others, we'd be forced to endure the pain of failure ourselves. Support the arts. The preceding recording is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent the views of Why Would You Make This, its owners, employees, or associates.